Well, the battle of the NFC West, the true battle of the NFC West, has finally arrived, and a lot is on the line in the first of two meetings between the Seahawks and the Rams.
It's football time.
Alrighty, what's going on? Welcome back to the All Round Sports Podcast, sports everything on this channel. I'm your host Antonio. Today we're talking about the beginning of the true battle of the West between the Seattle Seahawks and the LA Rams. Both the Seahawks and Rams are 7-2 entering into their Week 11 matchup for the first meeting of the season, as they will meet again later in Week 16 again at home in Seattle. But this game is big because not only are the Seahawks trying to clinch their division, trying to get in back into the division race, but they're trying to get the lead of the West. And I hadn't predicted to win the division at the beginning of the season. Meanwhile, the LA Rams are trying to prove some haters wrong themselves. The Rams, of course, have been under the radar recently, but of course, only two losses being to San Francisco in the early meeting matchup. And then the other loss, I don't remember who it was from. It was one of them was to the Niners. I don't remember. Oh, the Eagles in their collapse. But the question is, will this Seahawks versus Rams be the best game of Week 11? I'm gonna talk about that in just a second. Before we do, I want to mention something new. I have been in the works of this since the beginning of the year. You all know I have that 49ers choke jar. We already added a few counters, but I have a new jar, and it's not for a collapsing team. It's for a different team. It is the Seahawks haters being wrong jar. Now, what this is every time that Seattle exceeds expectations, wins as an underdog, or exceeds the win total, which is coming up, I will add one token to this jar. And this is what the coin looks like. The first one has the Seahawks logo with underdog on the front. And then on the back is the Seahawks with the 12 with mentality. I've always called them they have an underdog mentality. And they already won a game as an underdog earlier this year against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that is our first addition into the haters being wrong jar as an underdog counter. So we will of course be adding more to this as Seattle wins more dog games as underdogs, see win totals, or maybe wins the division. So, but anyways, hope you guys enjoy. If you do me a big favor, smash the button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. For now, let's talk about this matchup. I believe this matchup is going to be one of the better matchups of Week 11 because this is a game between two of the top dogs of the NFC. The Seahawks have been proving themselves as well, along with the Rams, but this game is huge. Let me go over some stats on each of the teams. In offense for Seattle, they are in total ranked 14th in the NFL. Their scoring offense ranks third in the NFL, and then also their passing yards per game is sixth in the NFL with a total of 248 passing yards per game, along with 17th in rushing yards with, and then also ninth in passing TDs with 11, sixth highest in rushing TDs, and have the fewest sacks in the NFL with 10. Not only that, they've only thrown 7 interceptions with 9 lost fumbles. But on the defense, that's where it all happens. The defense is the 5th ranked unit in the NFL in points allowed. They're in total ranked 7th in the NFL in total defense. They're 19th in passing yards allowed. They're 3rd in rushing yards allowed, and 4th in rushing TDs allowed, and 10th in passing TDs allowed. They're the second highest team with sacks behind the Denver Broncos with, of course, 46. But then they're also 5th in total interceptions caught. Now let's move over to the LA Rams side of things. They're the 8th highest offense in the NFL, along with the 10th best defense. The scoring offense of the Rams has been the main focal point. They are the 5th best scoring offense in the NFL. They're along with the 2nd best passing yards per game offense in the NFL, with the most passing TDs with 25, along with the 18th most rushing yards per game, with the 17th most rushing TDs per game. They had the third fewest sacks with 14, second in interceptions thrown with 2, but then their defense, which has been one of the more underrated units as well. They're second in scoring defense. They're 18th in passing yards allowed. They're ninth in rushing yards allowed. They're eighth in passing TDs allowed. They're first in the NFL in rushing TDs allowed, which they've only allowed 3. They're eighth in sacks, 15th in interceptions, and third in fumbles recovered. Now look at this matchup. This is a matchup that not only can decide who wins the division, but maybe possibly who gets the 1 seed. Because Seattle right now and the Rams are fighting with the Philadelphia Eagles for the number 1 seed. If the Eagles drop a few, because we all know their offense has not been as consistent, the other opponents you got to worry about of the teams that could get to the 1 seed are the Lions and the Bucks. Seahawks, this is, I believe, is a big game for them because if they win this game, there is a massive chance they can win the division. Because let's look at their remaining schedule. They got the Titans on the road. They got the Vikings at home. They go on the road against the Atlanta Falcons before they host 2 straight home games before they go on the road for the last 2, which they have the Colts and Rams before they go on the road to Carolina and San Francisco to finish off the season. If Seattle wins this game, I think Seattle has a shot to win the division. But of course, they will meet later as they made up in Week 16's Thursday Night Football game. But this is a big game for both sides. Both sides' offenses are really stacked. Both quarterbacks are playing at an MVP level. Both defenses can make you pay. But the biggest key for me for Seattle is to limit the turnovers. That's the biggest key here. Because whenever the Rams get turnovers, takeaways, as a matter of fact, that's what they thrive off of. They get takeaways, that's what they thrive off of. You had a few late takeaways against the turnovers against the Cardinals later in the game. But if you cannot have that if you're going to win a game like this, because these are the 2 best offenses in the NFC West going head to head. Both sides are really good. Both defenses can make you pay. So if Seattle's going to win this game, they got limited turnovers. Sam Darnold's got to play a really good game. And not only that, JSN has to get going. And I think Shaheed might play more of a factor in this one, in the deep threats, because this Rams defense, of course, is one of the better teams in the NFC. I think that Kitchens, who I wanted when he was drafted, he was a key player for their team last year, I believe. But you got 3 former Rams going against their former team. Ernest Jones, Dorian Kendrick, and also Cooper Kupp. Those 2 on the defensive side, and Ernest Jones and Dorian Kendrick, are 2 really good players. Those 2 got to go off this game. Of course, Ernest Jones hopefully should return this week. He has been dealing with an injury that he sustained 2 weeks ago against the Commanders. He is listed currently as questionable right now. So when I look at the Seahawks defense, their secondary depth has been the main leader of the charge. If they're gonna win this game for the defense, I think that the key matchup to watch here is the Seahawks secondary versus Puka Nacua. Because remember, last week we saw Devontae Adams go down with an injury. We don't know if he's going to possibly play this week. We have no idea if he is going to play at all. But you got to be able to lock down Puka Nacua, because even if Devontae Adams is out, Puka Nacua is a stud. You got to lock him down because he is the main weapon of the Rams. And also another guy I want to mention is not only Tyler Higbee or Colby Parkinson, Terrence Ferguson. Keep an eye out on this guy, because Terrence Ferguson was one of the rookies drafted out of Oregon. He was mainly known for his deep threats. If Seattle's going to have a chance to win this game, they got to be able to lock down that run. They've been able to do a really good job of it throughout the entire season. This is a big game where you have to stop the run. You got two solid running backs in Kyre Williams and Blake Corum in the backfield. You got to be able to lock those brothers down if you're going to win this game. And then, of course, you got other weapons on the defense that you need to keep your eyes on because, of course, Jared Verse are one of the weapons and also Brendan Fisk. The offensive line has been doing a great job of protecting Sam Darnold. They have the fewest sacks allowed in the NFL. If you're going to win this game, you got to protect Sam Darnold. You got to protect him. If you can get this win, I think Seattle has a legit shot to maybe not only win the NFC West, but maybe possibly get up in the Super Bowl contender conversation. So, I mean, this game is going to be a really close one. Would I be surprised if the Seattle Seahawks somehow drop this one? I wouldn't be surprised. But the Seahawks thrive off of two things: playing on the road and being underdogs. They're underdogs going into this game. They are 1-0 in games that they have been underdogs as a member of this season. And they're undefeated on the road this season. They're, of course, 10-1 on the road altogether. If you're going to get this win, you got to be able to lock down those guys because this is a game that you have to win if you want to get the division. If you want to win this division, you got to go through LA. So we'll, of course, wait and see what happens, but hopefully Seattle can get the win here on the road in LA. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think this will be the biggest game of Week 11? Do you think this will be the best matchup? Let me know in the comments what you guys think down below. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do me a big favor. Smash the button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.